If you're starting Medicare in the next 12 months and you're not really sure where to begin, this workshop is the perfect free resource for you. Who is this for? Ideally, it's for people that are 64, getting ready to go on Medicare in the next year, and for people that are on Social Security disability. This is not for military retirees or federal employees. I have other great resources just for you. So in this workshop, I'm going to teach you all about Medicare, when to sign up, where to sign up, how to sign up, approximately how much it's going to cost you, and we're going to go on the dark side of this, and that's the Medicare late penalties, how to avoid those lifetime late penalties that can really catch people by surprise. All right, now a little bit about me. As of this year in 2025, I am brand spanking new into the industry. However, that is not to be confused with an inability to help you. I am not new to the world of business and helping people. For the past 10 years, I've helped hundreds of businesses use the power of video marketing to give themselves a voice to connect with people. And if it's one thing I know, it's that I was able to only be successful thus far only due to the grace of God as my Lord and Savior, ultimately guiding my steps along my journey. So I am here to serve you. All right, so that's me in a nutshell. Now, I'm licensed in 4 states, DC, Maryland, Virginia, and North Carolina. If you live anywhere in those states or in the DMV, I can help you. And the best part is my services are always 100% free to you. Now let's start with the basics of Medicare. Government Medicare has 2 main parts, Part A and Part B. Medicare Part A covers most of what happens inside a hospital, things like inpatient stays, hospice care, and some skilled nursing care. Medicare Part B covers what happens outside of the hospital, your doctor visits, your lab work, x-rays, oxygen, durable medical equipment like hospital beds, and preventative services like colonoscopies and mammograms. Now, there's a big misconception that Medicare Part A is free. It's not free. You've actually been paying for it your whole working life through payroll taxes. If you or your spouse worked and paid Medicare taxes for at least 10 years, Part A is considered paid up when you enroll. You don't get a monthly bill for it, but that doesn't mean it was free. You already paid into it. For people who didn't work or didn't pay Medicare taxes for 10 years, there is a cost to Part A, and it can be very expensive. But for most people, there's no monthly premium for Part A. Part A covers what happens inside the hospital, like I said, but it also comes with a deductible. The deductible goes up every year. For example, it was $1,676 in 2025, and here's something most people didn't realize. It's not an annual deductible like you had when you were working. It's per hospital stay. So if you're hospitalized multiple times in a year, you could end up paying the deductible multiple times. That's one of those gotchas that catches people off guard. Medicare will cover your first 60 days in the hospital, but after day 61, you'll start sharing the cost, and that can add up quickly. Okay? Now back to Medicare Part B, which most people are more familiar with because you have to pay for it, and you've probably heard friends talk about it. How much you pay for Part B depends on your income. About 90% of people on Medicare in 2025 paid $185 per month, but higher earners can pay $200, $300, $400, or even $500 a month. It's based on your modified adjusted gross income from 2 years ago. So if you had a higher income then, your Part B premium will reflect that. Now, on the flip side of things, if your income is low enough, your state may actually help you pay for your Part B. But again, most people will pay $185 a month if you're collecting Social Security. That premium is automatically deducted from your benefit. If you're not on Social Security yet, you'll need to pay for it directly. And I can help you get that set up if needed. Okay? Now, what does Part B actually cover? It covers nearly everything that happens outside of the hospital. Doctor visits, preventative screenings like mammograms and colonoscopies, flu shots, COVID shots, shingle shots, and durable medical equipment like canes, walkers, and oxygen. It also covers MRIs, x-rays, and lab work, basically all the outpatient stuff. Part B has its own deductible, and once that's met, Medicare pays 80% of your approved costs. That leaves you responsible for the other 20% with no cap. That might sound easily manageable, but 20% of a large medical bill can still be devastating. For example, 20% of ongoing chemotherapy or dialysis treatments could mean thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars out of pocket. And I've seen it happen. I don't say that to scare anyone, but to emphasize the original Medicare alone is not enough coverage. There are significant gaps, and that's where the additional coverage, like a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan, comes in to protect you. Let's talk about prescription drugs. Original Medicare, Part A and Part B, does not cover most prescription drugs. To get drug coverage, you'll need a separate private plan. That's called Medicare Part D. There are a few exceptions where certain drugs are covered under Part B. You should note that there are a few exceptions where certain drugs are covered under Part B. Usually those administered in a doctor's office, like injections or rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, or chemotherapy infusions. But again, you're still responsible for that 20% that can easily total thousands of dollars each month. Next, let's cover what Original Medicare doesn't include. There's no dental coverage, no cleanings, exams, or x-rays. There is vision coverage, but it's limited to helping with cataracts, glaucoma, or macular degeneration, but not routine eye exams or glasses. There is no hearing coverage, not for exams or hearing aids, which can cost thousands of dollars. No coverage for anything cosmetic or deemed not medically necessary. So, to summarize Part A, it covers inpatient hospital care. Most people don't pay a monthly premium. Part B covers outpatient and doctor services. Most people pay about $185 a month in 2025. Original Medicare does not cover the 20% coinsurance you're responsible for. Deductibles, dental, vision, or hearing care. Most prescription drugs, anything cosmetic or not medically necessary. And that's why it's so important to explore your options for additional coverage so that you don't get caught with those big out-of-pocket costs that Original Medicare leaves behind. Now, if you've heard enough this far and you're like, I'm ready to go ahead and start talking specifics about your situation and how your Medicare setup will be, please feel free to click the link in the post notes or on this page to schedule a call or even an in-person visit with me if you're here with me in the DMV area. All right, so if you're getting ready to start Medicare soon, this next part is really important. The decisions you make now will determine how well your coverage fills in the gaps left by Original Medicare, as we just talked about. And that will determine whether your future medical needs are truly protected. Why you need more than Original Medicare, as we've already covered, Original Medicare Parts A and B has some big gaps. That's why most people across the country choose to add something to fill in those gaps. You have lots of options, but they really break down into two main paths. You can either stick with Medicare Parts A and B and add a Medicare supplement, sometimes called Medigap, or you can go with private Medicare, which is known as Medicare Advantage Part C. And Part C usually combines A, B, and D coverage into one plan. That's your fork in the road. And it's a big decision, one that in many cases, you might not be able to easily change later. So to path one, Medicare supplement plans, also known as Medigap. Let's start with Medicare supplements. These plans supplement your government Medicare coverage, meaning you stay on Original Medicare Parts A and B, but you buy a private insurance to help pay what Medicare doesn't. The biggest advantage of Medicare supplement is freedom. You can see any doctor and go to any hospital in the entire country that accepts Medicare. No networks, no referrals. It's complete flexibility. It's designed to fill in the gaps, reducing your out-of-pocket risk and helping you budget better because you'll know what you owe each month. Back in 1993, Medicare standardized these supplement plans, Before that, every company had its own big confusing version. But now, a Plan G from Aetna is the exact same plan as Plan G from Cigna, Mutual Omaha, or Humana. Each carrier would have the same benefits. The only real difference is the price and the customer service. That standardization was a game changer. It protects you from any sleight of hand or hidden fine print. Another big benefit, once you enroll, your benefits never change. As long as you keep paying your premium, your coverage, and your right to renew are guaranteed for life. Compare that to Medicare Advantage plans, which can and often do change every year. Supplement plans and drug coverage. If you do choose to go the supplement route, you'll also need to buy a separate prescription drug plan, a Medicare Part D plan, because supplements don't include drug coverage. Now, let's look at the chart of standardized plans. It's the same across every company. The most popular option in America right now is Plan G, often called the Cadillac plan. Why? Because it offers the most coverage and the fewest surprises. There's only one hole in Plan G. That's the Part B deductible, which changes every year. Once you meet that, usually in your first 1 or 2 doctor visits, you're done. No more out-of-pocket expenses for the rest of the year. Plan F used to be the top tier option with 0 out-of-pocket costs, but it was phased out in 2020 for new Medicare enrollees. If you already have Plan F, you can keep it, but new beneficiaries cannot buy it. Every state has dozens of carriers offering these standardized plans. Depending on where you live, you might have 30 or more companies to choose from. Health questions and eligibility. Here's a key point that trips people up. When you first enroll in Medicare Part B, you have a 6-month open enrollment window. During that time, every insurance company must accept you. No health questions asked. But once that window closes, if you ever want to change or get a supplement plan later, you'll have to answer detailed health questions. Have you had cancer, a heart attack, COPD, a stroke, rheumatoid arthritis? Are there any pending tests your doctors are watching? If you answer yes to certain questions, you may be denied coverage, possibly for life. That's why understanding your choices before you enroll is so important. If you want a supplement plan, the initial window is your best shot to get one without ever worrying about medical underwriting. So that's option 1. Medicare supplement plans like Plan G or N. Path 2, Medicare Advantage or Part C. Your other option is private Medicare, also called Medicare Advantage or Part C. This combines Part A, B, and often Part D drug coverage into one single plan managed by a private insurance company. The main appeal? Many of these plans have low or even $0 monthly premiums, but what's available depends entirely on your county and zip code. That means your neighbor across the street could have a completely different plan than you, simply because they're in a different county. Some areas might have several $0 premium plans, while others might start at $60 or more a month. And remember, these plans can change every year. Premiums, copays, networks, and extra benefits can all shift. So flexibility and comfort with change are important here. How Advantage plans work. You must be enrolled in Parts A and B. You'll continue paying your Part B premium to qualify for Medicare Advantage. The biggest difference between Advantage and supplement plans is the network. With Medicare Advantage, you're typically limited to a specific list of doctors and hospitals, usually within an HMO or PPO. Some networks are broad, others are tighter. On the other hand, Medicare supplements have no network limits at all. Advantage plans do often include prescription drug coverage, which is convenient. They can also come with extra perks like dental, vision, hearing, transportation, gym memberships, or grocery cards. But those benefits vary by county and by plan. So when you see those TV ads promising free groceries or flex cards or utility credits, they're sort of true. Those benefits do exist, but they may not be available where you live. That's why it's so important to review plans based on your zip code, not a national commercial. And that's exactly what I do. I compare the real options available in your area this year. Supplement versus Advantage. So which is better, a Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage? Well, it actually just depends on you. Let's talk about your budget. If money isn't tight and you want flexibility, a Medicare supplement is a great choice. You'll pay more each month, but your coverage is predictable and stable year after year. If you're healthy and you rarely go to the doctor, you might prefer saving money with a Medicare Advantage plan that has little to no premium. On the flip side, if you have ongoing health issues or you know that you'll need multiple procedures, sometimes Advantage can also work out because of the built-in caps on annual out-of-pocket costs, as long as you're okay with the network. Now consider your lifestyle. If you travel often, especially out of state, a Medicare supplement is almost always the better option. You can use it anywhere in the country that accepts Medicare. Advantage plans are much more local, and the care outside of your network can be tricky or costly. If you have many doctors or specialists, it's often harder to keep them all in network under Medicare Advantage. And then there's your comfort with change. So think about your own health, your family history, and your lifestyle. Are you the never go to the doctor type, or do you have conditions that will require ongoing care? Those answers will help determine which Medicare path fits you best. Look at your family history. What kinds of conditions have they dealt with? How often do you go to the doctor? If you're someone who rarely sees a doctor and feels great, your needs are going to look very different from someone who knows they have several surgeries or treatments coming up. Some people can predict that based on what runs in their family. Maybe joint replacement or chronic health issues are common. The point is, everyone's situation is different. The best plan for you might not be the best plan for your spouse, your sister, your cousin, or your neighbor. You could all be on the right plan for your own circumstances. So let's simplify how to think about it. The Medicare coverage pyramid. Imagine a pyramid. At the top is Medicare supplement coverage, and at the bottom is Medicare Advantage. Here's how it works. When you first enroll in Medicare Part B, you can buy any Medicare supplement plan that you want. No health questions, no medical screening, guaranteed acceptance in every state. Medicare Advantage, the bottom of the pyramid, also accepts everyone regardless of health. But here's the key difference. If you start with Medicare Advantage and later decide that you want to move up to a supplement, you'll have to answer health questions. And if you're not healthy at that time, you may not qualify. That's one of the reasons why I recommend starting with a Medicare supplement if you can comfortably afford it, even if you might not keep it forever. Why supplements often go up over time? Now let me be fully transparent here. Medicare supplements do increase over time. They typically increase by 5 to 10% each year due to medical inflation and regular inflation. So if you start with the plan today and it rises 5% per year, that's about a 25% increase over 5 years. For people on a fixed income, that can eventually become too much to maintain. And that's okay, because remember, you'll have the option to move to a Medicare Advantage plan, which must accept you regardless of your health. The switch can only happen once a year though, between October 15th and December 7th, the annual enrollment period. I'll always keep you updated on those dates through my outreach and videos and newsletters. Now, here's a real life example. So let's just say someone starts out with a Medicare supplement, like I said. After 5 years, she said, "Brian, I'm healthy and hardly ever go to the doctor. I feel like I'm paying for coverage that I never use." And then she switches to Medicare Advantage to enjoy the $0 premium and perks like a gym membership and a grocery card. And then about 10 years later, as she approaches 80, she called and said, "I've really loved the extra benefits, but I know my health will change eventually, and I want more security." So then I help her move back to a supplement plan. And then today, she's 84, she's still healthy and happy with all the choices she made along the way. That's the beauty of Medicare. With good guidance, you can adapt your coverage as your life changes. A word of caution when choosing. Here's something important. Don't pick your plan based on what your friend or neighbor has. I know it's tempting to say, well, my cousin has this plan and she likes it. I'll just get the same one. You got to remember, every state has hundreds of different plan combinations, and what works great for one person could be completely wrong for another. The plan that your friend or your cousin loves so much might not cover your doctor, your hospital, or your medications. And once you're enrolled, you're often locked in for at least 12 months. So I'll stress the importance of this. Your plan should be based on your health, your prescriptions, your doctors, your budget, and your zip code, not someone else's situation. Avoiding costly penalties. Now let's talk about timing, because missing deadlines can be very expensive, permanently. You have a 7-month window to enroll in Medicare. That's 3 months before your 65th birthday, then your birthday month, and then 3 months after your 65th birthday. If you miss that window, you could face a lifetime penalty. For Part B, it's 10% of your premium for every year that you're late, and you'll pay that for life. Since premiums go up every year, your penalty also rises every year. You can also be penalized for not having Part D, your prescription drug coverage, if you delay it. So yes, you can end up with 2 separate lifetime penalties just for being late. That's why it's so important to plan ahead and enroll on time. Working past 65. Should you still enroll? Even if you're still working past the age of 65 and your employer offers health insurance, it's worth comparing the 2 options. If your employer has 20 or more employees, you don't have to enroll in Medicare Part B right away, but you might still want to. Many people are surprised to find that Medicare often provides better coverage than their workplace insurance, with lower deductibles, lower premiums, and smaller copays. You won't know unless you do a side-by-side comparison, and that's something I can help you with. How I can help? At this point, a lot of people ask, can you just help me figure this out? Absolutely. That's what I do. If you're getting ready to start your Medicare within the next 6 months, just use the link below this video to book a free appointment at a time that works for you. You and I will go over your current health and medications, the doctors and hospitals you prefer, the plans available in your zip code, and the options that fit your comfort level and budget. Remember, there's no single best plan. There's only the plan that's best for you. My goal is simple: to help you make an educated, confident decision, one that you feel good about today and in the years ahead. So schedule your appointment using the link you see below. So I thank you for watching this video, and I hope I clarified how Medicare works for you. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with is that I'm a family man, and you would be a part of my Medicare family. So I'd be honored to help you navigate through this next chapter. Peace and love. It's Provision. Y'all take care and be blessed.